Welcome to Awaken You Healing Center with Shelly, and I'm here showing up talking about how we can expand our spiritual practice in our everyday life. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe to this channel. You can hit that notification bell to get all the latest and greatest from Awaken You Healing Center. Part of waking up to our life is being with it all, like giving ourselves permission to feel our feelings, to ride the rushes and the waves. Like when the sun comes out, now the sun is like covered by a cloud, and look at how blue the sky is. It's like, oh my gosh, it's these still moments that are like almost like perfection. And that alone is a spiritual practice. So I just really wanted to just invite us permission to tune into what are our spiritual practices? What are our spiritual habits, right? Do we take time to sit on our mat? Like I know, like I'm sitting on my mat right now, out here in nature, showing up. This is where I am. I know this morning I was taking a yoga class online, and I only got through 20 minutes of it because then life happened. But I showed up, and this is something I keep like reaffirming to myself. It's that it matters almost more how we show up off of our mat, because we can show up great on our mat. We can show up amazing on our meditation cushion. We can, like, the stars can align, the universe can like bring us and transcend us to peace. Or there can be those meditation practices where the mind won't shut off and we feel like a crazy person or lighting ourselves on fire. And it's just a matter of how we can bring, right, our spiritual practices, our spiritual habits, like into our daily life. And something I've been doing a lot is being the noticer of myself, right? Being the noticer of my thoughts, my responses, my reactions. And that's like this big practice of responding and reacting. That sounds really small, but like, how are you, how am I every day? Am I choosing to like react, or am I responding? This almost looks fake, but that's real. I'm like really outside. This is not a fake background. Look how beautiful. This is where I live. I'm so grateful. Our responses and our reaction and our karma. Think of karma as like a loop. It's like this circle. And when we choose to make the same responses, the same reactions, our karma just keeps spiraling in a circle. And even that karma can just keep growing bigger and bigger until we learn a different way of approaching a situation. That karmic loop is just going to be more bound and even grow bigger and bigger. And sometimes that energy will even come back to us intensified. Have you noticed this? Like, it's almost like this same experience is coming through different people. And it's like, why is this happening? And this is an opportunity where you don't say, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? It is an opportunity of like, how can I learn and grow from this? Because if you can start learning and growing it and responding or reacting differently, other than like freaking out on somebody, then you can start slowly like peeling and breaking that karmic loop. And when you can break that cycle, you start shifting your karma. And then from this karmic like circle, it starts spiraling up, and then you're making space in your karma, and your energy is shifting and transpiring, and you're breaking yourself free from those karmic bonds in our life. Like, right? We all have this energy body, our spiritual body. It's part of our practice. And a lot of us are really familiar with, in yoga, our anahata, the spiritual heart. Anahata is the space of love, the space of healing in our hearts. But we have all of these different energy centers, right? And our karma, it like comes to all of us in all the different spaces. So I think that a part of our spiritual practice that could be huge is shifting the way we're responding and reacting. And know that no matter how long you've been on a spiritual path or a self-growth, personal growth path, that we are just human. And there will be those inevitable moments where we mess up, or where we're like, why did I do that? Like, I know with being a mom, I'm like, what the heck? Like, I would never have wanted to act like that. Like, I was being a really shitty mom in that moment. And those are the moments where I feel like communication the Vishuddha chakra, which is our throat chakra, comes into place, where it's when we're speaking our authentic truth, even when it's hard, like having those hard conversations. Like I just had this huge kind of explosion with my daughter. She has been baking a lot, which I love that she loves to bake, but she makes just like monstrous, is that the right word? Monster, let's pick the right word, Shelley. Messes, gargantuan messes. And then I had to freak out on her. She had to freak out. She was a very freaking out, gross energy. And after like 10 minutes calming down, we chose to come together and communicate how we were both feeling. And I asked her to forgive herself. And I said, I forgive her and I forgive myself. And the thing is I think we hold ourselves up to such these like high standards. And that can be another part of that like karmic debt, and like how we can't get past these karmic rings. Like we're stuck in that karma circle, is because we're always responding and reacting the same way, or we're always being hard on ourselves. We're never forgiving ourselves. We're not making room for forgiveness. So in those experiences, when there's like those big outbursts, when we make room for forgiveness, we make room for compassion, right? We're creating like a higher vibrational state. We're lifting ourselves up and we're raising ourselves up from our kind of like average low vibrational feelings, our thoughts and our feelings, that the way that we are usually responding and reacting. And that, my friends, is such a powerful practice. So just think of that. Like, think of the way that you're choosing in your life to show up in your relationships, and the way that you're responding and reacting, say, to your spouse or your partner or your kids or your colleagues. Are you very defensive? Do you kind of like rush to anger? Do you rush to ignoring? Like, just evaluate. And I think one of the first amazing steps that we can do with anything is like that kind of like self-reflection, that self-evaluation. And again, knowing that life, it is a freaking practice. It's not a perfect. Think of the wind and the water, right? Like, it's not always going to be a certain way. I'm not always going to show up a certain way. You're not always going to show up a certain way. But the way that we choose to do something different can shift and make those like spirals, making energy for new experiences, making energy for the good that we desire in our lives. Because, right, we've all hit like those walls and those plateaus where it's like everything just is like spiraling and it's going down and it's going down, and it never feels like we can like get a breath or get an air, right? It's like we're in that vibration and it's so hard to make our way up and out. All it takes, right, is communicating different, is responding different, is being an open person, like to say the hard things. And I know it's hard. I do it. Like, I freaking do it. I am not just someone who says things and doesn't do them. I show up and I do these things in my life. And I just wanted to hop on here today for our lovely Awaken You Healing Center to know that, right, life is a practice. It's not a perfect. Life is not a one size fits all. Just like with yoga and like our false perceptions. I'm really like deepening once again into what yoga really is, like getting into like the heart and the guts of yoga, because a lot of us think like yoga is just our asana, it's our moving on our mat, but it's not just that. Like, that's just like a little sliver of the yoga pie. It's like this little piece right here. Like, yoga is the practice of deepening your connection to your heart, to your spirit, to better understanding yourself, your emotional state, your mental and emotional state, right? And yeah, knowing that you can choose to have new lines of communication with yourself. You can choose new lines of communication with people in your life. Like, even I've been married to my husband for 18 and a half years. We've been together for 20 years. And I'm just finding myself this year, like, coming up with new solutions to like our problems and our energy kind of like confliction with each other. And it is shifting. It's shifting and expanding the way that we are communicating with each other. So it's a powerful, powerful spiritual practice, my lovely friends. And I just wanted to encourage you today to like deepen your spiritual practice into your life. right? Because we can sit, we can do our mantras, om, we can transcend and feel like we're floating in the ethers. But boom, life comes. It's like by the time afternoon hits, being a mom, being a business owner, all the things and the stress it hits, it's like we have to transmute our spiritual practice as like a heart life practice. We have to learn how to show up better in our lives by doing things differently, because we can. Like, we are all, like, we're creatures of habit, but we're also creatures of growth and change and transformation. And that's all what this whole healing center is all about, is like being a better, more heart-centered, grounded, rooted person who could, right, be the change that you wish to see in the world. And if you're not liking the results that you're getting in your life, if you're not liking the thoughts that you're thinking, at any moment you can shift them. You can shift the way that you're thinking, and you can shift the way that you're feeling with your thoughts, right? With that spiritual practice of that gratitude practice. And if you haven't already, start a gratitude practice today. Start it by journaling. I am grateful, and write it 11 times. 11 is this like very magical spiritual number for me. And even one time I got on this kick. I've actually done it like 4 times, but it's 40 days of 40 I am gratefuls. And if you really want to shift and make that like right now, like I am going to change the way that I'm thinking and the way I'm living my life with gratitude, you freaking do that practice. And even when it's hard and it's scary, you just still write it. And even when you don't know what to write, what you're grateful for, you can just dive into nature. You can dive into all of the people in your life, your bed, your pillow, like go into the physical. And then when you're feeling like you can expand, you can go into people. You can expand to experiences. There's so many things that you can be grateful for. And I'm grateful for you. Thank you for showing up today. Please thumbs up this video, turn on that notification bell, and subscribe to Awaken You Healing Center with Shelly. Also, if you want more of this content, you can head over to Awaken You with Shelly Bond podcast. It's on all of your major podcasting platforms. My favorite is iTunes. I really love the platform. It's a great platform. I'm also on Facebook. You can check me out there, Shelly Bond, and Instagram, Awaken You Shelly Bond. I love you, and I'm grateful for you. Remember, right? What are your spiritual habits? What can you take today? What can you gain from this video today? And what can you actually put into action today? Because it's one thing to just listen to this and think of the things you can do, but it's actually taking action by doing the things. You can do it. You can do hard things. I'm doing it. I'm showing up with you. I love you. I'm grateful for you.